Ndị be anyị ekeneni m unu n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị sị na ya dịrị ndị Igbo na mma. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Igbo Media ka anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasata maka ana Igbo and Igbo community and ihe debe na Nigeria. Ya bụ ife ka anyị na-ewetara unu na Igbo Media. Dịka isi wee na-esole anyị, ọ bụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izizi gị ị na-abịa n'ilu akwụkwọ na Igbo Media, kabaru ka subscribe and turn on your notification ka ị lapụ miss any of our update dịka anyị na-etikwu ya n'ilu akwụkwọ kwa mgbe. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ya wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa gbasata maka ka ya bụ ife si ada and gbasata maka ka ya bụ ife si akpọtụ n'ala Igbo. Biko mma achọ ka ige ya bụ ife. Ihe a bụ ihe Biafra Chief of Staff bụ Ngozi Orabueze kwuru n'ilu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ka o si ada na Finland and gbasata maka Biafran Prime Minister Maazị Simon Ekpa. So igecha ya bụ ife idropụra ife iche n'ilu akwụkwọ gbasata maka ihe bụ ife ndị a niile okwu. Alright, over to you.
Some stories and things like that, but the Prime Minister also brought Dr. Agi back. The individual passing this information that Dr. Agi was suspended from the government, that is a lie. That is not true. Dr. Agi was fully brought back into the government, and the Prime Minister announced it when Dr. Agi came back. So whoever is spreading that lie should stop spreading that. Another thing I want you to know is that we are running a decentralized military, 40 states of Biafra, created by our Prime Minister. These 40 states, the way the way it's running right now is that each of the state administrators, each of the state governor is working closely with whoever that is in charge of the command in their state. We have a reason for doing this. Based on the killings that the Nigerian state, the way they are killing our people state by state, it will be difficult for a unit in let me say in Isan Igoro to quickly respond to a unit in Aba State when the Nigerian government is killing our people. That is why we have to decentralize our military, so that if anything happens in Aba State, we have the military in Aba to really confront these killers, these reintegrated terrorists that are in Aba State, to tackle that. Instead of, if something happens in Enugu State, we start looking for people to come from Ebonyi State. That is the reason for that. Any individual is just one. It's just one individual in one state. So even if there's anybody thinks it's not going to do well, it's not a good commander, or it's not doing well in one state, there are 40 states of Biafra. We are not running things the way it was when our Prime Minister. Some of the things have changed based on the progress that the struggle is making. From the struggle, we are now the United States of Biafra. We are now a nation. So we don't expect certain things to remain the same. And again, everything we are doing has been laid down by our Prime Minister from beginning to end. But some people do not know. They only know what they know. Probably at the time they were with the Prime Minister, they only know what they heard from the Prime Minister. They do not know all the other things that the Prime Minister has laid out, which I am aware of most of them, on how we have to progress into finalizing, protecting, obtaining our nation. So I just want to encourage Biafrans to please move with the nation. We have moved forward in the nation, and we don't want to continue to rely on people who claim or who think that they know something just to lie against other people. That is the answer to that question. Thank you so much.
But my last question, I think, is not answered. I said, like, individual who have the direct contact to the men on the ground.
Okay, great.
What's supposed to be?
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for that question. Like the defense deputy and the defense secretary has said, They are going through a process of education, orientation of our people, both at home and abroad. This is the first time we are really running a full nation between on until the one that ran between 1967 and 1970. Some of us don't really know how it was run at that time, but this is the first time we are running a nation of our own, and we have to start building things in place based on the kind of country that we want to create. Again, those people, civilians, if you are a civilian, please let the military do their job. Those civilians that are contacting the military and trying to ask them questions, we encourage you to stop. If there's anybody that is a military, and again, what I have to tell you is that the real military men we have on ground working for our country, you don't see them on social media. That is another misinformation that is flying everywhere. Some of them come on Twitter, come on social media, and they'll be telling you they are this, they are that. Those people, they are not part of the real men, the real military that we are creating. Do not be carried away by all those fake informations they post on Twitter telling you they are this, they are that. If you are a genuine Biafran and you have a real military person that we have on ground, ask the person first for the code. If they ask the person, do they have a code in the Biafran military? Has the person received a code in the Biafran military? If they've not, that person is not a Biafran military person. There are so many things we are putting in place, which I'm not going to be revealing here. But what I have to say is there are so many people on ground that are claiming to be Biafran military, but they are not. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May God continue to bless you and guide you, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next person.
All right. Your Excellency, I greet you and I greet all the cabinet member.
Okay.
Dr. Gozara, you're doing a very fantastic job. Just two questions. Yeah, my name is Steven. Yeah. Okay. The first question is the killings from December to this February by the Nigerian state. We know it was orchestrated by the people that said they asked the men on ground, our military, to stand down. Has there been any legal petitions or legal response against these people? Because we can't just let go of these individuals that was killed, or people that were killed from December till this February. That's number one question. Number two question, there was a time somebody asked you a question here by cutting of the election, but I think I slept off within that space of time that this question was being asked. So I want to know, most especially in Anambra election coming up, what are we doing to boycott election? Because election must not take place in our land. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. On the question of election, like we have said, Biafra is a sovereign nation. We have not scheduled any election in Anambra State. Um, Biafrans are going to ensure that no election happens in Anambra State. It is a collective task that we have to do. We already told the zoo Nigerian government to leave Biafra because currently they are occupying a foreign nation. So we will, as a body, all of us as Biafrans, ensure there was no election in Anambra State. The second one, the killing for December to January, we are still doing our investigation. I already have a preliminary investigation report on what happened between that period. But I also want to let Biafrans know, apart from the internal actors who are also Biafrans that participated and were part of these killings, we also had a lot of influx of mercenaries and reintegrated terrorists by the Nigerian state into Biafra land between November and they are still existing at this point. So again, the investigation is still ongoing, and what I have to say is any Biafran that is participating in the killing of another Biafran, you are not going to go free. Our problem is not Biafrans. Our problem is the Nigerian terrorist state killing our people. The Southeast and South governors employing these agents of Ebubago, Operation Udogachi and all that, killing our people. And also the reintegrated terrorists from the Nigerian state wearing Nigerian military and police uniform. And the politicians that are bringing them into our land, these are our enemies and needs to leave Biafra land. Our task at this point is to secure Biafra land, and these individuals that are being paid by the Nigerian government, by the Nigerian state, pretending to be fighting for Biafra, Biafrans need to confront them because they are the ones that are doing more harm to us than even the outsiders. But I have to let Biafrans know that the Nigerian state does not function in oblivion. They do not function in the air. So they use Biafrans inside to perpetuate this crime everywhere they go. Our task is to find out those Biafrans, those agents that are being used by the Nigerian state to not only disrupt our restoration, but also when they see that what they are planning is not going through, they will resort to calling our people, threatening them, hurting them, killing them. This is a task of Biafrans to discover these individuals and then ensure that those individuals does not continue doing what they are doing in our land. Thank you so much. Next person. Next person. Dr. Adi.
Can I go on?
Ijama is still here, I don't know.
Go ahead. Where is Dr. Adi? Ijama, go ahead, please. I think Dr. Adi is muted.
Thank you. All protocols observed. Thank you, my DPM. The person that is claiming to be speaking to our PM, I want to remind you that the person you are talking to is the person that really declared the nation that you are talking about. So, the one and give her that respect. She declared it. If she did not really declare it, you will not be speaking to PM for whatever reason you are claiming. So, that being said, my DPM, Dr. Onyami has touched on one of my questions by acknowledging that not coming up to inform Biafrans are part of the problem we have seen on the media. Let us not forget that we have experience. We have passed through this before. Biafrans does not want to see it again. When we are talking about who is informing, don't you think that misinformation is because the Department of Defense and the Department of the Communication did not perform their duties? Because where you have this much killings, and none of them we are coming up to ask to talk to Biafrans. We are not saying give us classified information. Every nation will come. Obatobie will come and address Biafrans. Everything must not be you. And none of them did that. And we asked and asked and asked, no one came up. You have acknowledged it now by saying that it's because of these misinformations that this meeting is being held. That means if there is no noise, I'm not talking about you, that this will not, Biafrans will not hear anything, which is very, very wrong. So I want to know if you acknowledge that the Department of Defense and Communication has failed on this aspect and has brought this very misinformation you are now saying online. Secondly, somebody asked about Dr. Agi, which I wanted to ask now. Then is it PM since everything has been was mapped by PM, is it PM that puts her in the cabinet? That is my second question. My third question is it wrong for Biafrans to seek for the truth of what we are into at the appropriate time? Example is when our Obatobe was arrested. I know you came to talk to us, and I thank you so much. But consequently, we keep asking, what is happening? And we are being told that he's fine, which we know he's fine. But the notion was that, like, he's on a house arrest, and today we are hearing it that is an arrest and is being kept on correction center. Which, if this thing were said in the beginning, it will calm many nerves. We will know exactly where we are and we'll know exactly what to do. So these are the three questions I have for now to ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Again, the update about the Prime Minister. Most Biafrans, we update them every now and then as needed. The thing is that some people want me to come and lie or to say things that do not exist or to add something that is not factual and tell that to Biafrans. And that is what this government will not do. Biafrans are being updated from the time that the Finland government invited our prime minister for questioning, and it's still ongoing. That incarceration is still ongoing till today. That is the fact, and that is the information Biafrans have. Finland has not come up with any indictment on our prime minister. Finland has not tried our prime minister in any legally constituted law court in Finland. Finland has not indicted or jailed our prime minister. That is a fact. And Biafra knows this is the state of things. There is no other information about that except this, which we, the government, have been updating Biafrans. The thing is that some people think there is more to that, or maybe there's something I know that I'm not saying, or people think that if I have to say it in a different way, then they will be happy. But I cannot help anybody. I cannot. It is the same way that it is the same way that I got information that I relay that to Biafra. So that is that on the update on our Prime Minister. Each time we have maybe fundraising, I use that opportunity to also update Biafrans if there's something new that we got from Finland. But as it stands, the last update that I have for Biafrans is what it is, and we are updating the Biafrans on that. Again, if there is any new thing that is going to happen, that will be updated. The second one is whether his prime minister that approved the appointment of Dr. Agi. I have to let you know that the appointment of all the cabinet, all the secretaries of the United States of Biafra is approved by our prime minister. That is where it stands right now. Again, in the misinformation to blame the defense and blame the information department, I don't agree with that, because the defense has been very, very busy trying to create what the departments we need on ground. They work day and night. Again, the killing of Biafrans is not something that started today. Nigeria state has been killing our Biafra. They've been killing our people. It happened, the killing in Ihamufu that they did. I can just go on the Aba massacre, the different massacre, the Hate Bridge massacre, the Bo massacre, the one that happened in Nnamdi Kanu's, our leader Nnamdi Kanu's house. This massacre, it is planned, executed by the Nigerian state. So, and it has been ongoing. It's not the first time. So our Defense Department cannot just come out and jump out and just start talking when they don't have the facts. We are a government. They are doing all the investigations needed to be able to ensure that the information we pass out there is the fact, not on hearsay, not when somebody wants to what somebody wants to hear. Oh, who killed this one? Who killed that one? But all I have said is that there are Biafrans. Anything that happened is for our own Biafran. There are Biafrans internally involved in those in that thing. Sometimes they are being paid by the Nigerian government to facilitate what they are doing. So those are the information. The information department, you have to know, they've been doing a lot of great works. They've been doing a lot of great works in the area of organizing Twitter spaces, bringing in the different ministers to talk to Biafrans, bringing myself. I know how many times they've brought me, and also ensuring that we follow up with information that Biafran needs to know. On my own part, on my Twitter space, those that follow my Twitter space, some of the things we do, I also post it there. So it is not a task that only one or two or three people, because they are in the information department, we expect them to perform miracles. People, we need more Biafrans to come in. It's not easy. Sometimes some people think it's easy to work. Some of us, we have a full-time job. Sometimes you go to your office in an 8 or 9 hour shift. You only put in about 2 hours to your job. The other 7, 8 hours, you're doing it for Biafra, voluntarily. Nobody's paying you for that. Some people that have been able to sustain this is because of how strong they are. If not, if I was working for somebody, they would have fired me at my job, because I can only put in so much hours for that individual for a company that hires me, which most of you know. So it is the responsibility of every Biafran. If you know the one you have to bring, as long as it's the truth, go to the media and post it. If there's information you know, as long as it's the fact, you can also go and post it. So I'm not going to blame anybody, because one, nobody is paid to do this. Secondly, these are people that volunteer their time to step in and just help us navigate this ship. Anybody, any other person can also do that. So that's all I have to say on that. The next person, please. Thank you.
I want to say something, if possible.
Go ahead, 1 minute,
excuse me.
Pastor Jonathan. Hold on, please. Pastor Jonathan, go ahead, 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you so much, my DPM. I want to just respond a little bit to the questions that these people just asked. Regarding the Obatobie, our Prime Minister, you see, our DPM is very transparent person, and she is the one that God has ordained to lead USB at this time. And I want you to understand that her administration is not a zoo kind of administration, saying things to please Nigerians. She says the truth, not to please anybody, not to make you happy. She will tell you this is black or this is white. And whatever she says, take it that way. If you want the one that you think that will make you happy, then take that one. But this is the truth. The Biafra government is not going to deceive anybody. See, so that is number one. Number two, regarding Dr. Age. See, somebody, when DPF was talking, somebody said that it's not true. Now listen, Dr. Age, I'm very sorry to be personal. She is one of the people in this cabinet that I have discovered that is very humble. Even when you think that Obatobie expelled her from the cabinet, she was still making her payment to the government. But most of us, some of the people that are out there, because they are not in the cabinet, Are they making their payment? Biafra need money now for what we are doing. So even if you're in the government or you're not in the government, make your payment. That shows your loyalty to the government. That shows that you are interested in Biafra, not just the position, but in actualizing Biafra. That is one thing you have to know about Dr. Agye. And at a point, I was there when she was asked to produce receipts of her payments. And she brought receipts of months she was asked to bring. With all humility. That's just what I want to let the people that are asking about Dr. Agye to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Jonathan. And again, like we said, we need more people to come into this struggle, into this restoration process, into this new nation, and also be able to contribute their own time voluntarily into the government to help us move forward. It's not one person's job. Or two people's job. So let's go ahead with the hands off.
Please, one last question about what is happening in Anambra State, Soludo. We are a nation, and Soludo went on enacting or creating nonsense laws that are really, really, really affecting our people. It's a crime to bulldoze houses, use one person fault that you have not proven in the court to bulldoze houses, and knowing that we have no social housing in Nigeria and everything we own were by individual efforts. And this Soludo has gone ahead destroying people's lives, not undermining the children in the developed world. Is a crime to expel any person with children or family from a house. And a so-called professor is bulldozing people's house, and yet it's not part of Nigeria where he is representing. What is our government going to do? Because he is warming up for another election. People are still talking about this election, but what is our government going to do? Both on the law that he is using to impoverish more our people, putting them in a pain, and the ones that he is using his criminal gang to prepare ground for his election. Thank you.
Thank you again. We've already, like I said, we are a new nation, and we will continue to do things within our capacity to let the world know the evil that Nigeria and the delegitimized governors representing Nigeria, what they are doing in our land. And like the Prime Minister has said, we will also continue to put our forces together to self-defend our people from these invaders. For now, that is all we have to do. Continue to work on. Next person, please.
Your Excellency, Dr. Agye stepped out because she got an emergency. So I don't know if Ugo 247 is there to take over.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Prince, would you unmute yourself? I mean, I can always, let's make it 1 minute so we round up, or any other person can take over. Prince, would you unmute yourself? 1 minute, please. Your question.
Yeah, Honorable DPM, I greet you and I greet every members of the cabinet. I don't have any question. What I want to say to Biafrans is, you see the questions they are throwing to this government that is just about 2 months old. If we've been throwing it to every governor in Anambra State or every governor in our states, we wouldn't have been having a bad situations, This whole thing that they are doing is uncalled for. We're just about 2 months old, and the government are doing everything in their capacity to see that Biafra restoration becomes a reality. And you have people like the one saying he caught PM yesterday, which is all lies, and we all know it's all lies. This is just a kind of propaganda, mess propaganda. And people come up here to ask some silly questions, which is undue for. But why we Biafrans, we're not thinking of what we are going to do to make this Biafra a reality. We're only hoping on DPM, Dr. Ngozi Orabezi. We're all hoping on the cabinet. We're all hoping on the Prime Minister, who is incarcerated at this moment. We're all hoping on Mazin Nandekano, who is nowhere to be found at this moment. They are all facing a very harsh problem. And we Biafrans will come up, will be asking silly questions. Biafra is not for only Dr. Ngozi Orabeze.
Good.
It's not only for our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa. It's not only for our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are all Biafrans. And everybody, most people that are asking these questions, they've not donated one dime to Biafra. And they'll be asking you about security, asking you about this, asking you about that. If we'll be asking the zoo government all this while that they've been doing elections, Soludo is preparing for next election, you will see an Amberians that will still go out to vote for him just because of what? He gave them spaghetti. I don't understand why we are so difficult. Why are we not supporting our government, which we know is the real government? If Dr. Ngozi Orabeze did not declare Biafra on the 29th of November to 2024, what would have been of us today? Nobody's asking that question. They always come to ask some silly questions, Butuzo, ask of some silly and irrelevant questions. It's uncalled for.
Yeah,
We should all be putting our heads together to see how this government and how Biafra is going to be actualized. That is what I want to say, my DPM.
yeah,
I
thank
love
you.
you. And your
my brother. Thank you very much.
Wadaloli Neno from Igbo Media, boy by Sine Utano Yabozi, Joe Kempa, Bastabak Yemen and Nigeria, and the enemy teacher, na Eastern Region, and Uno Kosia Dana Finland, and the Biafran Prime Minister, KC Judea, the update and the Yabo Biafran declaration came in Finland, so Yelina Kaya, I know Telu Niba Huko. Kifi waliku basta makayabo iye chief of staff kugasinirwa kuko yaneboro tagasiaka and the new development on Biafra of United States of Biafra. So yabi ife ka isi ka tiedo no kono kwa ifunche no den kono basta makayabi ife ngwa dado dinen nke mesia no munem.